What did she say? Bioforce asked. The safe cave where they hide the children has been hit. Darkspeed grabbed Bioforce and blinked both of them in front of the cave mouth. Bioforce recognized this as the wine storage cave that Olympian had showed them. She remembered the story of how the children were brought here to be protected in time of danger. The hill was a few 100 feet high and extended far behind. The rock and the heavy dirt was surrounded with dust from the force of the explosion. I don't see any impact point, Darkspeed said. Olympian and his cousin started pulling rocks away from the entrance. Aurora flew up to look around the hill. Darkspeed took the rocks that the Fracas men threw back and moved them farther back. The roof is caved in, Aurora shouted as she landed. We have to get them out of here now. I can try to knock part of the hill off of them with a hard flyby, Olympian said. You might crush the young ones inside, Darkspeed said. Cosmos is our construction guy. He could do this, Olympian said. Doc said at least another hour before he can use his power. There are babies and toddlers in there. We don't have an hour. Darkspeed paused and thought out loud. Virtuoso, where are you? Just dropped Team 3 in Vegas to help with the fires, Virtuoso thought back. Get Cosmos here now. Dr. DeClute said, I know what she said. Just do it. What's going on? Olympian asked. She's getting him, Darkspeed said. Jonas, help us, one of Olympian's cousins shouted. We have special help coming to remove the hill, Olympian answered. You're Omni? Virtuoso, she, and Mr. Pringle appeared holding an unconscious Cosmos up between them. The other alphas gathered around them quickly. Bioforce, bring him around, Virtuoso said. Bioforce touched Cosmos and he came to instantly. There. What's going on? A groggy Cosmos asked. The Fracas children are trapped under the hill. It caved in. You need to remove the hill, Darkspeed said. Cosmos tried to feel the hill in front of him, but couldn't. With weak knees, he walked up to the side of the hill and placed his hands on the rocks in front of him. He could barely feel into the dirt just a few feet from him. He can't do it, Virtuoso said softly. It's like a stronger version of the drug that inhibited his power. He can't focus. His mental shield is even down. Cosmos, you have to do it or children die, Olympian said. Cosmos tried his hardest to flex a muscle in his brain that was numb. Virtuoso, help me concentrate. Connor said not to do that, Bioforce said. He's not here, Olympian said. Son, are you sure? Mr. Pringle asked. I can rest after this, Cosmos said. I need a decision, Virtuoso asked Darkspeed. Do it, Darkspeed said. Virtuoso bent over behind Cosmos and placed a hand on each side of his head, and Cosmos tried to summon the Omni power. Virtuoso could read what he was trying to do and aided him. Cosmos' glowing blue eyes popped open and his power reached into the hill. Earth to water, Cosmos commanded. The hill in front of them turned into a standing pile of water, hundreds of feet high. Darkspeed's speed kicked in and he saw Cosmos and Virtuoso washed back by the huge wave. Olympian and the Fracas family members took to the air by instinct. Darkspeed scooped up Bioforce and Mr. Pringle and carried them back to the Fracas house. The house was far enough from the wave that they wouldn't need to be moved again. Then he returned to look for Cosmos and Virtuoso. He saw the Greek women and children flowing out with the water. One by one, the speedster carried the people that were in the cave to the Fracas house. Olympian looked at the water flowing under him and the streaks that must be Darkspeed moving. The water flowed away quickly and violently. Did you get everyone? Olympian said loudly. I count 167 in total, Darkspeed said as he stopped moving. Have your cousins check around for anyone else. Darkspeed placed she next to Cosmos, Virtuoso, and Mr. Pringle. Bioforce was already frantically trying to heal all the Fracas children. Darkspeed followed her direction and moved those not breathing close to her. She looked at Virtuoso, who was shaking on the ground. Are you all right? Virtuoso couldn't hear her teammate. Her mind was reeling with feedback. She tried to sit her up. Virtuoso's skin felt like it was on fire as she swatted at She's hand. Pain and panic were all she could feel. Are you all right? She shouted at her. The blue light burns. The sparks hurt my brain. Can't make it stop. Virtuoso used all her concentration to just say those words. She pounced on her and reached her hands under her reflective hood. Virtuoso tried to struggle away as she gripped her head with both hands and pulled her close. She maneuvered her until they were both eye to eye. You need to be all right, she commanded her. Virtuoso could see the strength and resolve in her friend. She reached out and unceremoniously slapped her two wet hands onto She's pink hair. She opened a connection to the stealth and felt her strength. This helped to calm her and let her focus. The Brazilian girl felt her heart slow down as She's strength washed through her. "I'm going to be all right," Virtuoso said, half convincing herself. "I know you will be," she said without reservation. Mr. Pringle held his unconscious son in his arms and followed Bioforce as she attended the other wounded. "He's bleeding from the nose. Does he need healing?" After finishing what she was doing, Bioforce jumped up and touched Cosmos. She could feel how the Omni power had removed any sign of the drugs from his system. Bioforce could also tell that he had several places in his brain that were bleeding from using the power before he was ready. Quickly, she began healing him. "He just needs to rest." Bioforce took her hands off Cosmos and returned to what she was doing. Olympian returned from the watery hill and stood next to Virtuoso and She. "You okay? You look shaky." "I'm going to be all right," Virtuoso said firmly. Why did he make water? He didn't want to make air, then everyone would fall. "I see. How is everyone?" "Bioforce is working on a few that..." "She's working." "Transport team!" Darkspeed continued. "Get Cosmos and his father back to London and get the party line back on." "Sure," she said as she took Virtuoso by the hand. "You good to do this?" "I am," Virtuoso said. Mr. Pringle carried Cosmos to the transport team. Then, Virtuoso transported them all to the London HU. "Is he going to be okay?" Mrs. Pringle asked her husband. "He is. He just needs to start resting again," Mr. Pringle said. "I'm going to see if there's anything we can do," Virtuoso said as she walked out of the room. Outside the command center, an HU rep asked her why she wanted to go into the command center. Virtuoso told him that the Alpha teams in training were helping the rescues and she needed to check the paper copies on the white table. He quickly decided she must have already been in the room. Virtuoso walked into the command center and watched to see which tech was in charge. She saw how fast and frantic he was working. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Virtuoso asked. "Not unless you know these systems as well as me or have 10 arms. We're really short-staffed," he said as he kept working. Virtuoso immediately had an idea. "Miss Waldron, where are you?" "I'm trying to get a lift back to Edinburgh." "Where are you?" Miss Waldron thought. "You're still in the HQ?" "I'm trying to get out. Are you still here?" "I am. I have an assignment for you. Meet me outside the command center." "I'm not a fighter." "You were the one who told me you didn't have to be a fighter to help. Are you coming?" Miss Waldron changed direction and started jogging through the crowded halls. "I'm on my way." Virtuoso walked to the HU rep that was guarding the door. "We have a person named Miss Waldron coming in to help with the systems. She should be here in a moment." "Is she authorized to enter the command center?" he asked. "Sure," Virtuoso said without hesitation or knowing if it was true. "I'm going to have to check with Arthur. Is Prism's authorization good enough?" "Any of the London team would be good enough." "Prism, this is Virtuoso. I have a way of staffing your command center." Virtuoso thought to Prism and started to relay her plan. Prism met Miss Waldron and Virtuoso outside the command center. "This is Miss Waldron. She is going to have full access to the command center." "I understand," the rep guarding the door said. "I'm going to have to shut the party line down for about 10 minutes, Virtuoso thought to the leaders of the teams in the field. The leaders didn't like hearing it, but understood what she was about to do. On Prism's direction, the lead tech sat down next to Miss Waldron, and Virtuoso stood between them. She placed a hand on each head and readied herself for the task. Virtuoso calmed herself and opened a connection between the two minds. She found how the computer systems worked, how the communication systems worked, the satellites, code words, handles, paperwork, procedures. As she found these things, she passed them to Miss Waldron. Virtuoso pulled her hands back and opened her eyes. "How long was that?" Virtuoso asked Prism. 8 minutes. "How did you do that?" Prism asked in awe. "I just figured it out, and then Amunet showed me how to do it faster. If I don't try to learn it along with them, it goes faster. Amunet always said it was too dangerous." "Well, I had already done it once. Amunet taught me how to do it faster and better." Miss Waldron's near-miss attributes were helping her shake off the effects as she stood. "I remember everything." "Good, we need the help," Prism said. Miss Waldron split into 7 separate selves and spread out into the command center. Each of her knew exactly what to do. "I have to get back to my team," Virtuoso said as she disappeared. "Party line is on," Virtuoso thought to the 3 leaders. In the room staked out by the young alphas, she paced back and forth. "You're back!"